Welcome to a special edition of World Surf Weekly, coming to you from Narrabeen, Australia. We've got all the action from the Rip Curl Narrabeen Classic presented by Corona. From amazing performances to big upsets, the championship tour event was one for the history books. Plus, we look west toward the tour's next stop, Margaret River. Let's go! Welcome to a special edition of World Surf Weekly here on the northern beaches of Sydney, Australia, and home of the Rip Curl Narrabeen Classic presented by Corona. I'm Joe Turpel with Stace Galbraith. Stace, what a week. We've got a lot to cover today.
Yeah, that was an action-packed 4 days. I can't wait to relive it.
So much history here in Narrabeen. How cool is it to be back in Australia at one of the most famous waves that really did a lot for pro surfing?
Absolutely. There's so much history here, and I think we relived a lot of that this week, and then we had an amazing performance from both sides.
Big finals day. Let's kick off with the men's bracket to see how we got to our big final. The waves probably were the best that we've had all week. It ended up being really clean, light offshore conditions. And the quarterfinals, we actually had some different types of names, which was really refreshing, Stace.
Yeah, I guess from the start of the day, the odds on was that we were going to have a new winner, but Gabriel Medina is pretty hard to stop.
Unbelievable seeing his role against all the craziest draws, like Morgan Siblick, how when he got the 867, Medina switched into gear and then was basically unstoppable. Great efforts from Griffin Colapinto as well to be part of that all-California semifinal.
For sure. Spent a little bit of time with Griffin and Ethan over the last couple of years. I was certainly pulling for those two, but you cannot stop Gabriel. He looked, he could win from anywhere today, win from in front or win from coming from behind.
We knew Connor was going to stick to his plan, try to get the best waves and do big power surfing turns, but it was all about Medina taking over from the get-go, and boy, did he have the crowd on his side.
For sure. I think, we're lucky to have crowds at these events, but they are limited capacity. This is insane. What a dream wave. What a dream ramp. You couldn't draw a better picture of a wave, and you got that in real life. But getting back to the crowd, they're lucky to be down here, and even with the limited numbers to keep everyone safe, there was still a lot of support from Brazil.
So crazy that he got those waves back-to-back 9 Rangers, a severe combo. Connor needed an 18.77 total, and it was brilliant because he put his head down, locked in an 8.77, so he walked away combo free, was chasing the 10, but Medina got his 15th victory and the yellow jersey on his shoulders heading into the West.
For sure, and just on that, I was stoked Connor got to tee one off there at the end. He deserved to get one, and then as you can see the scenes here, I was talking with Ryan Fletcher, who's the global TM at Rip Curl, and he's seen a lot of things, and he said he hadn't been in a busier crowd or a more passionate crowd than that, which is easy to believe when you look at those pictures there.
That's right, Stace. Well, we talked to Gabriel Medina right after the final.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to put a good performance, I finally could surf the way I wanted in the final, just with waves and opportunities, and I stick my airs, so that felt really good. And it's always good to win. I was missing this feeling, I've been having some finals. I was doing kind of some of mistakes, and this one I tried to fix. So feels good to get better and keep getting better.
Gabriel Medina has shown us a lot. Obviously, with surfing, we're not, that's no surprise. He's going to put on those performances, but something about his personality. Stacey, you're talking to him all week, the last event as well. He's incredibly happy, and he's been sharing that with you and all the fans.
Yeah, and in the presentation, he was extremely insightful about his, intentions for his own life and talking about happiness and stuff, which is amazing personality from Gabriel. We've seen the one side of him, which has been this stoic competitor, and now he sort of seems like he's getting more experience, growing up a little bit, and really enjoying all aspects of competition, not just winning. I know that means a lot to him. But he's enjoying everything along the way.
Gabriel Medina back to number 1 in the world. Well, it was a goofy foot sweep. As we go to the women's final, it was such a joy to watch. Tatiana Weston-Webb and Caroline Marks end up in the final, but they had to earn it to get there. Carissa ended up going down to Tati, and Caroline had a crazy heat with Courtney Conlock, not to mention Steph, in the quarters along the way.
she definitely had to beat the best of the best to get there, and I've been chatting with her all week as well because she's been winning a lot of heats. And I think after that performance against Courtney, I feel she thought she might have left a little bit in the tank and she wanted to let it all out in the final. So I think she certainly did that.
Final was great to have two goofies. They love a left. Even though it might have been shorter, it was punchy. And then Caroline Marks just kept on swinging. Tati showed her power, but there was a bit more progression, a bit of flair behind Caroline's turns.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, just a little more desire to really show her top performance. I mean, her flow is just so nice. It was awesome to watch her go top to bottom on a few waves. I think this is a good example of this here. She, you know, a lot of the lefts we see on tour are very short, as you mentioned, but in the final, it was like the tide and everything just lined up and they got some really nice long rides and got to show all their variety.
It was really such a solid sandbank. Caroline getting coached by Luke Egan at this event. All the goofy footers were incredibly proud, and she's right back in to the title race. This is what Caroline had to say.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was super fun. It was really awesome to go left to turn. I've been working a lot on that on the off season, and I knew that was something I really need to work on. So it feels really good to win a comp going left. And Narrabeen's been amazing. Thanks so much to everyone that's here. The crowd's been awesome, and I'm over the moon. I'm so stoked.
Caroline is the total grommet on tour, 19 years of age, taking down stop 3 of the season. And look at that movement. Caroline jumps to second. Tati moves to third. Biggest surprise now, seeing Tyler drop to fourth. Steph's hanging on to that spot in the final 5 now, Stace.
Absolutely. Final 5 is looking really tight. If I'm honest, it's probably that 2 to 7 mark that is going to be very, very competitive.
As we saw Courtney Conlaw get some momentum, moving up a bit as well. And obviously yellow jersey changing hands. And I love it that each event so far, we've had a different winner. Title race is incredible.
Exactly. I mean, it's great for us as fans. The variety is incredible. There is a sense, though, that Gabriel is starting to pull away. 3 finals and a win in one of those. It's ominous signs for his competitors.
That's right, Stace. Much more to come on World Surf Weekly. We'll go into the giant upsets that went down at Narrabeen. Welcome back to World Surf Weekly. Joe Turpel with Stace Galbraith. Stace, a lot to talk about in Narrabeen. We can't get past the gigantic upsets that went down.
There was a bunch. I think my favorite out of the lot was the roll that Joanne Defay went on. She was looking really sharp.
That was crazy. I mean, Tyler Wright, as we know, was trying to recover from an early loss at Meriwether Beach. She had clear intention to win, and she started off incredibly strong. Picked off the alley rights. No one was going that way. She left Defay alone on the left, but it actually worked for Tyler. She had the lead at this stage.
Absolutely, and I think that was what was impressive about Joanne's performance is that she didn't buy into the the 2-time world champion's plan. She stuck to her best, and we know what happened.
Crazy to see Joanne Defay able to get another big 8. Remember, she had the crazy high total the day before, but survived under pressure of Tyler Wright to take her out of competition. And that's the big question mark. Can Tyler now recover in the West?
I think the short answer to that is most definitely. She's been really successful out there in the past. She's in a place where she's really relaxed. And I think although her most recent results aren't massive, she's already got 1 win this year. And I think she'll be looking pretty deadly.
Also on the other side of the men's draw, Morgan Siblick. This guy is incredible. He does it again to John Florence. What a huge upset for John, who is trying to move on from that Meriwether result, and he gets knocked out early once again.
It's a really tough one. I just want to give props to the cameraman there who pulled that shot with Morgs and John right next to each other. That was really dramatic. Look, Morgan, he is just surfing with such conviction. Wow, I mean, I think that, he had some good results on the QS, but I don't think anyone was expecting this. And he's got John second guessing himself. In my mind, there's no doubt John should have ridden this wave. John could do the same thing, or even perhaps an aerial on this wave, and the heat has a different, context to it. But Morgs has got him second guessing, and Morgan is not wasting any opportunities.
So crazy, the role of the rookie Morgan Siblick, the underdog from day one, in the shadows of rookies like Jack Robinson. And then you look at the entire Australian contingent, getting past Julian Wilson. He's one of the highest ranked Australians on tour. It's absolutely massive, all the takedowns that Morgan's had, but the upsets continued. Also with the world title shakeup, Did you see this one coming? Italo Ferrer going down to Connor Coffin.
I would have to be honest and say that I did not see this coming. I think we all thought Italo was going to go very deep in this contest again. And similar to Joanne v. Tyler, I'm super proud to see Connor and the surfing he can show and stick to his guns. He didn't fall into Italo's trap. He sat where he wanted to sit, and he surfed his waves as best he could, and he came out on top, and I know he was stoked after that as well.
Really cool to see Italo switch gears. He fell on a big air opportunity at the start, then got this score and tied Connor's best, and then the air seemed wound of the world. The argument, was it a make or incomplete? We moved on from that. Didn't get the score. The whitewater collided him, and he wasn't able to recover from this.
For sure, and I think that, you know, if he reflects on this heat, which I know he has now after speaking with some of the Brazilians today, and he will look back on that first opportunity and know that perhaps there's an area of his improvement. I love this back and forth battle though, because he did turn the heat. It was Connor on his final wave that turned it back again.
And it was a crazy tie break because they had the exact same high score, the exact same low score. So Connor needed that wave on the buzzer, and that was enough to send Italo into the locker room.
I know we've seen this before, but I would actually love to see John John's reaction, because John doesn't flinch much, and that was a loud bang.
Such high energy, polar opposite. Connor Coffin is cool as a cucumber, really relaxed in that approach, and it wasn't his first buzzer beater of the season. He's been living by that, backing himself, beat Italo, and obviously went all the way to the final. That was so impressive.
For sure. I think he'll be stoked that he placed himself second overall here, and I know he'll be looking forward to Margaret River.
Big upsets. We'll see if those continue, because after this, we're heading to the West. Coming up after the break, we break down the next stop on tour, Margaret River. Welcome back to World Surf Weekly. Joe Turpel, Stace Galbraith. Stace, it is so exciting because we get to go back to the West. One of our favorite stops on tour, Margaret River.
I cannot wait. I don't really have anything more to say than that. I'm so excited.
We can't wait. Let's dive into what makes Margaret River so special. When we think about the power and the rugged ocean and the coastline, it gets so much power because of the roaring 40s, strong westerly winds that are found in the southern hemisphere and generally between the latitudes of 40 and 50 degrees. Look at all of that energy just shoving right into the west coast of Australia. Unobstructed power that hits this amazing section of Margaret River. We've got two spots there, the main break, and on the opposite side, that slab that's called the box that Jack Robinson absolutely owns. So you got the slabbing section, but very shallow reef, and then also the right and left at main break. You can see the continental shelf slope. It slopes off into the deep water trench 3 to 5 miles offshore. That just sucks in even more power, and that incoming swell will then refract off that shallow reef. The reef surrounded by deep water on both sides. And the craziest part about the ending of the right and main break, Stace, is the factor of that tabletop rock shelf where we see so many surfers trying to avoid getting bounced off across. It's almost inevitable. You're going to see some crazy wipeouts because in a heat, they're not going to hold back. They're going to try to slam that end section and hope that their board and their body is all intact.
Much like we saw up at Newcastle on the rocks there at Merriweather, Margaret River's even more consequential when it comes to self-preservation. You've got to be careful, but you also want to make your heat. So these surfers have got to make a decision.
Well, all of a sudden, we're going into John Florence territory. I mean, that is an easy statement to make. Clearly on what he's done, and not just once, but multiple times, even before the CT. He was winning this at a QS event. What makes John so special at this wave?
What makes John so special at this wave is his upbringing in Hawaii, and even more specifically the break in front of his house there. it resembles this wave, and the angles and the lines that he has to take really suit Margaret River, and his results along with his performances really speak to that.
He looks miles ahead of the field, especially in the title showdown. He's had back-to-back finals with Kolohe and Dino and more 9-point rides than anybody, rewriting the book on how to surf main break. But then you add the box into play, and he's just as dangerous as Jack Robinson.
And I think that goes back to the comment I made earlier about John, obviously, growing up in Hawaii and Jack Robinson growing up over there. I think that, if you flip the script to Jack Robinson in Hawaii, there's obviously some success there for him as well. So
Hawaiians always have a great connection with Margaret River. I think Olamana Eleogram, Dusty Payne in the past. Well, we'll keep that theme alive with Carissa Moore. Carissa Moore is heading to the west, wearing that yellow jersey, world #1, has won this event in the past. She has a similar approach to the main break as John Florence.
And it's again very similar, like you mentioned, and she matches the power with power, which at Margaret River is a very extremely hard thing to do, and even flaring as well. Look at this is great vision.
She won this event as a CT in 2013, backed it up in 2014. 2014 final, she beat Tyler Wright. Tyler's been dangerous there. You think Courtney's also going to be a threat, but it's such a great opportunity for Carissa Moore to just continue her rhythm on tour this season, chasing a 5th world title.
For sure, she set herself up beautifully so far, and heading over to Margaret River, I know she'll be excited.
So it's more of a bounce back moment for John, but also a good moment for Carissa to keep that lead out front. Coming up next on World Surf Weekly, Dimity Stoyle always has a backstage pass. We'll see what she got up to behind the scenes right after this. Welcome back to World Surf Weekly. Those were some of the best claims we've seen all season. Stace, did you have a favorite?
That was a couple of classics. I like Griffin's little finger snap. Kept his arm below his shoulders. That's always a plus for me.
Oh, I'm going with basketball claims all day. Those are incredible. Well, Dimity Stoyle is good at a lot of things. One thing she's really good at is going behind the scenes and getting the best personalities out of our world's best surfers. This is what Dimity got here in Narrabeen.
Should we just go?
Finals day.
Yeah, dog. Finals day.
Who you got your pom-poms out for?
Oh, maybe Joanne. She's been in good form.
Yep, she's out already.
Yeah. Oh, did she?
Yeah. Taddy getting in the zone. What's the plan? It's finals day.
Plan is to go one wave at a time.
What do you think, Caroline? Is that a good plan, or is she just...
Nah, it's not gonna work.
Connor, you're a weapon today. What's the plan? Finals day.
The plan's go get a smoothie and do it again in the semifinals.
Excuse me, mate. Can I see your credentials?
You want to really see my credentials?
Here we are. We gotta stay very quiet because I think she's asleep. Don't wake the jam. Woke me, Dan. Sorry.
I'm trying to watch Gabriel get inspo.
Did he get it?
100%.
Did he get it?
That was the Nazis area, not nuts. Don't use that video. It's so nuts, yeah.
That's so good. Dimity is incredible at giving us all a backstage pass. Stace, it's now time for the set of the day. Starting at number 5, Joanne DeFay. Maybe the most underrated surfer on tour, upsetting Tyler Wright in the early rounds.
For sure. I know she would have been really excited to get out there looking at these long running lefts, and the plan didn't really go as she would have hoped in the beginning of this heat, but she certainly brought it home in the end, and as you can see here, really comfortable going left and surfing really well.
Got Tyler to lose her priority, then opened up that left, got an 8-point ride, she knew it, and got past the 2-time world champ. Well done for DeFay, moving on to the next round by such a gnarly competitor. Number 4, Gabriel Medina, Morgan Siblick in the rematch. Morgan got barreled, but Gabby fought back.
This Morgan wave was just an exceptional display of tube riding, but Gabriel was not fazed by that. There was a few waves in this heat where I think Gabby thought he should have had the lead, but this is what really sealed it. That is, that's how you do it. Out to the flats. It's like he's not even phased. It's too easy for him sometimes.
9.3 on the buzzer. That claim was serious. Business time. That's when he really took fire on finals day. Number 3 goes to the Italo versus Connor Coffin heat. What a wild matchup that was.
Crazy matchup. It had it all. Like we mentioned earlier, we'll be talking about that one for a few weeks. And yeah, Connor here sticking to his guns and, you know, made that switch over to JS and his equipment's been looking really good and he's stoked to be in Australia.
That equipment is suffering a big blow because that board looked like magic. Connor with a big takedown there. Coming in number 2 on the set of the day, young Caroline Marks picks up her 3rd win of her career.
Yeah, Caroline, similar to Joanne, would have been very excited to see these long roping lefts coming in, and her, you know, style and flow is really put on display here to a point where we haven't really seen that before from her. So I know she would have been stoked to perform and come away with the win.
Back to the title race for Caroline Marks. First thought she wouldn't make it to Australia, and look what she just turned in. What everyone expected her to do, pick up another key event win. And winning the set of the day on the show goes to Gabriel Medina, world number 1, and one of the best performances he's put on in a final in his career.
For sure. This wave for me was a telltale sign of where his confidence is at. He could have easily just tagged that end section, but no, it's Gabby. He's going for it. It's the final. And then backs it up with this, which I think is one of the best right ramps we've seen all week. And, you know, when you're on a roll, these things happen to come your way, and Gabriel maximised that opportunity.
Gabriel Medina picking up the 15th victory of his career in events, and as he's chasing down a 3rd world title this season, and he's back to world number 1 as we head to the West. Well, that's it for the show here on World Surf Weekly. Next time we'll be seeing you is when we go to West Oz for the Boost Mobile Margaret River Pro presented by Corona. We'll see you then.